Hey guys, DSKxMonkey here, back again with the Runecrafting Mage only account finale. Thank you all for your patience and let's get right into it. To start off the video, I officially bought our most expensive item yet in the series. We are now only missing the Ancestral Robe top to complete the full set, which would be a dream come true honestly. And I bet y'all didn't expect this kind of milestone at the very beginning of the video, but I finally obtained 99 rune crafting. Our first 99 on this account. Yes, you heard that right. Rune crafting is our first 99. And shout out to my friend Deadly for showing up. What a legend. No 99 party is complete without buying and flexing the new skill cape. Deadly also gave me some monkey nuts as a present, but anyways, look at this absolutely stunning untrimmed 99 runecraft cape. Yes, it's called runecraft apparently. That's the skill. I didn't even know. But yeah, I'm in love with this cape. Holy shit, untrimmed 99 runecrafting. That's unreal. To top it all off, we quickly bought the Ancestral Robe top as well, completing our best in slot robes and achieving our dreams. You guys also must be wondering, how is it possible for me to even make so much money in so little time? Well, here's a secret to RuneScape content creation. These clips take a ton of time in between, allowing me to craft enough blood runes to supply my cash flow, even though my cash stack looking really small. And look at these blood rune prices. Holy shit, man. I am so sad that they have dropped dramatically. Jesus. I wish these updates didn't kill blood rune prices. Oh, and yes, I did just get the pet. I got it at level 96 rune crafting, just like my main. Yes, sir. So I know I was gonna try to do a side goal of collecting a bunch of robe sets, but unfortunately all things come to an end and I have to sell off the items because I'm dirt poor right now. And here we go with the Grand Exchange history. As you can see, I had to sell a ton of stacks of blood runes. I was definitely on the rune crafting grind there. And throughout selling all of these, I was able to slowly accumulate enough wealth to buy these expensive Ancestral Robe pieces, which I'm really happy about. And like I said earlier in the video, blood rune prices back then were really good. A lot of exciting stuff in the first few minutes of the video, and this is where things start to get a little random. Now that I completed the longest skilling grind goal on my account, I was thinking of other things to do and other money making methods. I ended up fishing for a bit to get to the Temporos level requirement and cook a bit of free fish. With 35 cooking out of the way, I bought enough grapes and jugs of water to make into jugs of wine, since it's a very cheap and fast cooking training method for quick levels, since I really wanted to get to level 65 as fast as I could to cook some monkfish and honestly start making some money through cooking. But I forgot that you can actually burn some of these jugs of wines at the lower levels, so I had to go back to the Grand Exchange and buy more supplies. Now that we got 65 cooking and a bit of cash to spare, I completed the family pest quest to have all the gauntlets, especially the cooking gauntlets. I know this is a random level, but I got 60 smithing so I don't have to pay the dwarf at the blast furnace in case I ever go there. And making mithril dart tips is honestly pretty AFK and a decent small money maker to do on the side. And apparently, instead of cooking monkfish, I guess I cooked a bunch of swordfish. I don't remember why I chose these instead, but they were probably more profitable at the time. And you can see from the Grand Exchange that I was definitely making a nice profit regardless of the burn rates. Thankfully, you stop burning swordfish with cooking gauntlets on the Hasidius cooking range at level 76. Yeah, I think this next clip confirms that swordfish were indeed more profitable because I ended up cooking all the way up to level 80 for sharks. Instead of waiting in the Grand Exchange for fish to buy, I decided to go all the way to the Warriors Guild to earn some tokens on the side. Fish prices were pretty bad for sharks at one point, so I experimented with anglerfish since they were a bit more profitable regardless of the burn rates. Things then started to stabilize and I went right back to cooking sharks all the way up to level 98. This is where I decided to stop because I want to buy more untrimmed runecrafting capes before I get my second 99 on the account. And this also made me a pretty penny. Trust me guys, just get 99 cooking. It's a good money maker. 10 mil at least, guaranteed easy. With the cooking grind put on hold for now, I went to get the Dragon Defender, which took me a pretty long time. It's quite unfortunate, but it does happen to everybody every now and then. And I'm also very glad I can use this toxic staff for my melee training because it saves up our runes for Slayer. Speaking of Slayer, I'm out here safe spotting some blood veils with some chaos runes I crafted myself, of course, with some ugly salad robes. Now, I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but in order to wear my beautiful ancestral robes, I first have to get 65 defense. After many months, I have finally accomplished the prestigious 65 defense, trained all through magic. This is 100% not the way to level up defense. Do not do it, guys. Be a normal fucking person and use some melee weapons and do not suffer like I did. We are now, however, able to wear not only our ancestral robes, but we can also equip our tormented bracelet. We nearly have the max set within our grasps. And isn't this gear set just breathtaking? This setup, like, honestly, wizards and magic are awesome. I'd shed a tear right now if I could. Just absolutely beautiful. I then headed over to the Grand Exchange to sell some miscellaneous items and drops from Slayer, and you can also see all my cooking progress through the history here. Always check the prices to maximize profits, but trust me, if you're a noob or struggling for money, just go for 99 cooking if you got the time. Even if you don't have time, like, just keep working on it and you will build a nice small cash stack, and you can even keep training it afterwards, which is great because the 99 cooking skill cape prevents you from burning anything and everything, so you can maximize your profits even more. Trust me, just do some cooking. But of course, my main money making method is just to craft some blood runes. Sold another huge stack and was able to buy my first ever Kodai wand. With only 500k GP left to my name, I couldn't be happier. Well, I don't know how to tell you all this, but I keep training rune crafting post 99. I know it's pretty crazy, but it's a great AFK moneymaker to craft blood runes, and plus it's like my best moneymaker overall since I suck at the game. And I'll probably sell most of these, but keep a few for the future in terms of Slayer and potentially bossing. I'm not too sure yet, but definitely gonna keep some. And I also decided to go back to my roots and craft some air runes at the air altar over here in Falador. I know some of you guys might remember that from the past episodes. I think probably episode 1, honestly. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I needed them for the Mage Arena 2 spells. As some of you may know, I have never, not once, done any of the Mage Arena mini quests. So I had to theory craft the easiest and the laziest method for myself. I researched all around the old school RuneScape wiki, shout out to them by the way, for the cheapest and best negative magic bonuses. It was pretty tough to get a negative 65, but this magic number allows me to splash and autocast their respective god spells while equipping the Toxic Staff, Staff of Light, or the Staff of Balance. It's dangerous to risk these staffs, by the way, in the wilderness, but I had great faith in myself to not fuck up and get skull tricked. I also ended up having to use, for the first time, my Wilderness Sword 1 that I got from the last episode, which allows me to have a 100% success rate at slashing the webs in the wilderness, which adds to my master plan. It's basically the finishing touch towards my master plan. Just to make sure I didn't get skull tricked and have my full attention within the wilderness, I decided not to record myself splashing each spell 100 or 200 times, I believe it is. And of course, I only took one staff per run because I'm not that stupid, and thankfully I didn't get PK'd. It was, however, pretty close at one point, but with my big brain abilities, I was typing to him saying, oh yeah, I'm almost done splashing, you know, and then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for you or something along those lines. And while he was typing or getting another account to log in, I decided to make a dash for it, and I got the logout right on time, so he didn't get to kill me. And besides that, killing the 3 bosses while auto casting went pretty smoothly. I even ran into someone else doing the same mini quest, like killing the bosses, looking for them, and we both kind of freaked out but didn't bother one another, which was awesome. And anyways, here I am with my first ever imbued Mage Arena 2 cape. One of the easiest, the best in slot unlocks that I postponed for quite some time. Here we have a clip of me showing you guys that I have enough money to buy the 3rd Age amulet, but since it more than doubled its price during the time I was recording these clips and getting all the money for the series, I made the executive decision not to buy it. It used to be 19 mil or cheaper, but a spike in 3rd Age prices and like the economy going on in RuneScape was going up and down, that, you know, people are just looking for ways to spend their money, and 3rd Age was a market they ended up tapping into, which kind of halted my progress in that aspect. And I just didn't see the point in paying more than that for this basically useless and inferior amulet. I'd rather keep rocking the occult necklace, which is way better just due to the fact that it has a magic damage bonus anyways. Finally insured my pet, by the way, and of course I went back to crafting blood runes. It's not because I was low on cash, however, but because I have been using Blood Wave as my primary spell for Slayer. I even got 275 Slayer, by the way, which made me pretty happy because I love to kill gargoyles. Sometime later, and I also ended up getting up to 77 Slayer. I don't think killing brutal black dragons is efficient with my account restrictions, but I gave them a try later out in the video. In case some of you are wondering, the reason why I keep training Slayer is not just for money and because it's a cool skill to train, but because I'm training my defense still all the way up to 75 for the Arcane Spirit Shield. Unfortunately, the last stack of blood runes were not enough to get me to 65 defense, so you guessed it, back to crafting some more. I also can't stress this enough. Getting these many blood runes takes days worth of grinding. Please hit that like button if you haven't yet, because I'm not only spending countless hours here wasting away my life for these blood runes, but I'm also wasting millions worth of gold in runes that I could have potentially sold for money. Like, come on guys, hit that like button please. I never really asked for it in the beginning, in the middle of the episode, but I might as well. After completing some more tasks, I finally got my first juicy gargoyle task. And yes, I am wearing full bundles, by the way. I use expensive gear to staff bash some monsters whenever I don't use magic. And while I was enjoying myself here at the gargoyles, I can happily say that I have finally reached my goal of 75 defense in order to equip the Arcane Spirit Shield and the Eternal Boots. This truly took me at least 6 months to reach. All leveled up through magic. No melee weapons, no use of my staff, all through magic. This has been a fucking crazy journey, and I do not recommend anybody else to train their defense through magic. Back in the Grand Exchange, I ended up buying the Eternal Crystal since I already had the Infinity Boots needed to combine in order to make the Eternal Boots. And you want to know something that really grinds my gears? I don't know why the fuck people are merching this stupid ass crystal for like 12k or 15k. Like, dude, do you really need that fucking 12k, bro? Like, go do something else. Holy shit, stop merching, you fucking weirdos, I swear. But anyways, we have finally obtained another best in slot for this account. We have definitely gotten a ton of them throughout this final video on the account, and honestly, all I'm really missing is the Arcane Spirit Shield now. The only downside, however, is that just like the Third Age Amulet, the Arcane Spirit Shield skyrocketed in price. It used to be like 100 mil when I was starting out the account, and then it went all the way up to like 160, 180 because of the Raids 3 announcement. So I'm not really sure if I'll ever get to buy it. I then ended up training my Herblore level to be able to use the Herb Sack for Slayer and potentially complete the Kingdom Divided quest. I'm not really sure if I can complete it due to my restrictions, but we'll find out together. So with that in mind, I did some birdhouse runs for 12 Hunter because it is a sub-quest requirement. Got 52 Thieving for the Kingdom Divided requirement. And also completed the X Marks the Spot quest, which was pretty weird because I thought I already did this. The Kingdom Divided has a lot of requirements and quests in order to start, so I decided to get right into gaining Piscarilia's favor. I got it all the way up to 20% repairing cranes, completed the Queen of Thieves quest for an additional 10% favor certificate, which puts us up to 30%, and with that percentage, we got all the way up to 100% Piscarilia's favor hunting sandworms. It sucks misclicking here, but this wasn't as bad as what comes next. But before the bad news, I completed the Depths of Despair quest and the Forsaken Tower quest. This quest in particular, however, sucked ass because I don't use Runelight, so I had to follow the wiki to the T, and then I had to use my fucking big brain to solve a puzzle that took me like a good while. So yeah, so much for Easyscape. Yeah, I'm just living on hard mode difficulty without Runelight for sure. And after that, I then completed the Ascent to Arceus quest, and here is when the bad news starts to come in. As I was getting ready for the second to last quest needed to start the Kingdom Divided, I stumbled onto a slight problem. Although the requirements don't state the need for any particular range level for this quest, there is a certain section that requires the use of all 3 attack styles, and as you may know, I do not train or level up range. At this point, I was really bummed out because not only did I make another mistake, but I will unfortunately never have the ability to use these new juicy Arceus spells, and it also prevents us from unlocking a whole nother spell book. We're just stuck with the standard spell book at this point. Or so I thought. But for now, I'm gonna go tackle a different quest line. Since I am now able to use staffs as a combat option outside of magic spells, I could finally tackle my goal of unlocking the lunar spellbook that I failed to get on the previous episode. I completed the Fremenic Trials quest without using my fists by smuggling a Draymond branch that I later turned into a Draymond staff, which fits my account restrictions, and went to complete the Jungle Potion quest afterwards. With that quest out of the way, I also completed the Shiloh Village quest, which was the last quest requirement to complete Lunar Diplomacy. But I'm not satisfied just yet. My next goal is to complete the Dream Mentor quest in order to unlock even more Lunar Spellbook spells not available to me yet. Unfortunately, I was still missing one quest requirement called Edgar's Ruse, and now with that out of the way, we can tackle the Dream Mentor quest. Okay, so apparently this used to be an unsaved instance, so if I died, I could potentially lose a good chunk worth of my bank. But thankfully, I'm pretty sure Jagex made all previous dangerous instances safe. Don't quote me on that, but I decided to risk it anyways. You can choose to risk your own valuables if you want, but you know, all things considered, I should have brought better food if I was stupid enough to risk this fight. But thankfully, besides this big boy, the rest of the bosses were easily safe spotted. Now that the boss monsters were defeated, a random passerby admired our gear setup, shout out to him by the way, and we completed the elusive Dream Mentor quest, which was pretty satisfying. We have now unlocked all the potential lunar spells we can get for our build, and we also got this little genie lamp that gave us a good amount of magic experience. Without any more quests in mind for the time being, I decided it's better late than never to level up my prayer all the way up to level 77 for augury. As I was doing my Slayer grind, I also frequently banked a couple dragon bones, but mostly worm bones in anticipation so I could save a bit of GP once I started this grind. With a few million down the drain due to dragon bones, we have achieved yet another goal we set out towards long ago in episode 1. Augury is now on my account, even though I probably won't even use it that often. Like, I don't even know why I did this shit. I'm definitely not gonna use it. So do y'all remember when I said, oh, so I thought? When I couldn't complete a quest requirement for the Kingdom Divided? Well, I just couldn't get over the fact that this one section of a quest could prevent me from unlocking another spellbook. So I did some further digging. As I was watching a quest guide video step by step, seeing how this quest progresses, I noticed how you do not gain any range experience from completing the quest action. So with this newfound information, I quickly got to 100% Lovakench favor and 20% Shazian favor to work through this quest. Obviously my restrictions do not allow for range to be used, but I figured I could make this an exception since it's like I never even used range to begin with. Literally zero range experience. Good game, boys, good game. We can now start the Kingdom Divided quest. I'm so glad I looked into it a bit more, and thanks to that, we now completed the Tale of the Righteous quest. Now for the final quest requirement before starting the Kingdom Divided. The Architectural Alliance has now been completed, and it's time to face some of the quest bosses. From what I read and seen through videos, this first boss cannot be damaged by magic nor range, so I was forced to try my luck with my strong as fuck Toxic Staff. It was a pretty fun boss fight overall, but I kept getting hit by the waves even though I felt like I could perfectly dodge this sort of similar mechanic. At least I was perfectly dodging them during my Dragon Slayer 2 quest lines on my main account and my other alt account. But whatever, it was still fun. I decided to just tank them at one point and said like, you know, fuck it. I mean, just run through all these. I don't care. I'll just eat my trusty handy dandy monkfish here. Terrible food. Bring better food. If you're watching this video for some reason trying to follow through like what I'm doing, or you know, you're gonna try to tackle on a Kingdom Divided, please do not bring monkfish to your boss battles. It's pretty stupid. But thankfully we were able to defeat it, and now we will see how far we get in the quest. The second boss we got to face is also immune to magic and range. I also heard you could apparently do the Wook's Walk shenanigans on this boss during a certain phase, but I ended up failing big time, so I'm not sure if it's possible or I'm just bad, which could be the case. Because of that, was also definitely harder than the first one we faced because I ended up having to teleport at the last second. This allowed me to reflect upon my actions, however, and I realized I was taking too much unnecessary damage by either standing on the circles or not just walking away from the hand mechanic that happens. You know, it's just better to not take any damage, not try to wooks walk, just walk it off even if the fight takes a lot longer than it could. Plus, our trusty toxic staff doesn't really do us any favors. I can guarantee you will hit a lot smoother if you did not have a toxic staff as your best in slot melee weapon. Like, honestly, this staff was hardly damaging her at all. This ended up being a very long and annoying quest to complete, but at least the 2 boss fights made it a bit interesting. I probably could have enjoyed it a lot more if I cared enough not to spam spacebar and actually look into the lore, but fuck that, honest. Like fuck that. That's all I can say. Fuck that. This part towards the end was sad, however, because spoilers, the new king got insta-killed the second he took office. But with that all being said, we have unlocked yet another spell book thanks to the completion of the Kingdom Divided quest. I'm honestly not looking forward to redoing this quest on my other accounts though. With another huge milestone on the account put behind us, I was thinking on ways to make enough money for the Arcane Spirit Shield. Although this might anger some of you, I decided to sell off the Kodai Wand. It's just a very useless magic weapon for me because I don't have access to ancient spells. It's just far better to stay with a smoke battle staff and do some fire spells on the standard spell book, even though I technically lose 5% magic accuracy compared to the Kodai. I even accidentally profited from holding onto it for so long, which was nice, and just a reminder, I am not a merchant. I swear. Fuck those guys. These newfound riches randomly made me want to purchase the Ancient Wyvern Shield though. I also had to buy some Numalite to charge it, but the reason for this purchase was because they provide the same magic accuracy as the Mage's book, plus give me higher defensive bonuses. And of course, this also helps me during my dragon tasks, since I like doing them and I don't really skip dragon tasks. Went ahead and did some Slayer with it and ended up hitting 92 magic, halfway to 99. Oh, and since the Mage's book was pretty much worthless in my eyes now, I sold that and then I made another unexpected purchase. I bought an Eldritch Orb since I noticed how cheap they were. It was like 39 mil at the time, the lowest it's ever been, and I've never used a Nightmare Staff with an orb before, so I thought it was pretty cool. It also has a very neat special attack which restores prayer points depending on like the hit you hit. It restores prayer back to you, and I ended up using it quite a bit on some Slayer tasks. While I was doing task after task, I finally got a brutal black dragon task. I decided I might as well see if I can take them on or not. I first tried killing one with magic. Of course, it was very slow, but very doable. The downside, however, was that I will 100% not make a profit this way, but it was nice to know that it was at least possible to kill them with mage. It's just not worth it. My second attempt was to try to kill it with my toxic staff. I hopped a ton of worlds because I didn't want anybody to see a total Chad killing them this way, because you know they'll question me. They're like, yo, why are you killing it with a toxic staff, man? Like, seriously? So after hopping around and finding the world, I realized they couldn't even be venomed, so buying a bit of Zora skills for my staff was pointless. And I also forgot to bring an inventory of food. Duh, like, how do you even forget that? Well, it's because, you know, I was safe spawning them before, so didn't bring food. And as I was fighting them, I also realized that it was pretty slow and it just wasn't worth the time, you know. It's better to melee these if you have the Dragon Hunter lance, but I mean, with my crappy staff weapon, it's just not gonna cut it. But either way, it was a nice, fun experiment to try out. After completing so many tasks though, I did end up having to use some of my Slayer points to block Turos, since my only true method of killing them and even damaging them for that matter is to use the spell Magic Dart. That doesn't sound like a problem in itself, but a good sustainable method of obtaining death runes through my restrictions makes it quite difficult. Yeah, I could no life ZMI for a chance to get a few death runes per trip or every other trip, but getting thousands of them easily, unlike the other runes available for me, does not quite exist. This is just a small clip of me getting a dust battle staff drop from a superior gargoyle, and you can also see my eldritch staff in my inventory there, which I have been using to restore my prayer points with its special attack. Something I forgot to mention was that during this time in the clips, I have been on and off the account. I even got to 55 fleshing, losing a tiny bit of money, almost like a mil worth of GP in order to train this skill a lot faster, because I am planning on getting 99 fletching in the future. With that being said, one positive of not playing for a good while is the fact that the market sometimes shifts in our favor. This, alongside having a 94 mil cash stack at the time, made me want to sell some of my more disposable, valuable items in order to have enough money to purchase the one and only Arcane Spirit Shield. You can even notice through my Grand Exchange history that the Grand Exchange tax was one of the newer things implemented into the game. And you know, I'm still a little bit salty that I didn't hold on to the Eldritch Orb, because even though I bought it for like the cheapest it's ever been at 39 mil, I ended up selling it for less when I was gonna take a 3 months break or so of the account. And then with the Grand Exchange tax, it ended up skyrocketing all the way to 100 mil. So I could have had a lot of free GP right there, but I'm not a mercher, and that's all just comes down to luck, honestly. Anyways, enough of these what if moments. After a few seconds of waiting to see if I can actually buy our best in slot shield without even having to mess around with the prices, we actually got it. This purchase left us poor as fuck, but that honestly doesn't even matter. We finally got the item I knew would be the hardest to save up for, in my opinion, and the Arcane Spirit Shield is the most expensive item I have ever purchased in this game. No questions about it. The only other item I set my mind on getting at the start of this journey would have been the Third Age Amulet, but as I said previously, its newly found price tag just makes it not worth it at all. I could have sold a couple of stuff to buy it, but I'm sticking to not getting it though. Cold Necklace is just better. Enough talking. Now for what you all been waiting for. We have finally reached our goal. It might have not ended exactly the way we thought about it at first, but without the Kodai Wand and the Third Age Amulet, we have all our best in slot magic accuracy items, and that is all that really matters. A whopping total of 147 magic accuracy is still nothing to laugh at, and 147 isn't even our highest, because once I buy the mystic version of my smoke battle staff, which they ended up buffing throughout this time I was away, it would put us all the way up to 161 magic accuracy, which is pretty close to the maximum magic accuracy you can have at 177. Now before wrapping up this video, here are some of the other initial goals I achieved. 99 rune crafting, 75 attack only through the use of a staff, 75 defense only through magic training, which took me 6 months, and then 77 prayer for augury. And of course, the secret and honestly the finishing touch to this series was my secret goal of the Rift Guardian pet. I even got over 19 million rune crafting experience, which is beyond the realm of men. Like, honestly, no sane human being would go to these lengths besides those 200 million guys. But regardless, I did, however, not get 99 magic, which is pretty much a staple for like a magic only account. And that will only come through time. You know, I'll probably get it off film and I'm honestly pretty satisfied with all the work I put into this account. I'll probably play it without recording anymore, and I'm gonna get rid of my personal like runecrafting rune restrictions. I'd rather just buy runes at this point. I'm not gonna runecraft more than I should. Like, the series is over. I set out to complete my goals, which I accomplished for the most part, without like the 2 exceptions on the Kodai 1 and 3rd Age amulet. And you know, I'm just happy with the account. Honestly, it's a beautiful account. I had a lot of fun. Thank you all for your patience and viewership, of course. I had all these clips ready to go for a very long time. I could have uploaded this months ago, but that's just on me, guys. That's just on me. Again, thank you all for your loyal support and immense amount of patience. It truly means the world to me. Don't forget to 90 that like button, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Blood runes constantly dropping from their 400 GP or more era is heartbreaking, and spoiler alert, instead of being smart and keeping the arcane spirit shield like I was planning on when I bought it for 134 mil, I panic sold it a few days later, and it was just a stupid decision. I knew Raid 3 was coming out, so I found it odd that it dropped back to 134 mil. That's the only reason I bought it. But then, you know, like, I didn't even keep it. I just sold it, and then like maybe a few weeks later, or like that same week, it ended up skyrocketing, nearing 200 million GP. I can't catch a break. You know, I just can't catch. I can't stop catching these L's.